Serena Morales, Kevin Klein, with two New Yorkers, even though Kevin's not really from New York, but he has a 917 number. Cheers to you.
Why don't you give out all the digits? Why are you quitting there? Why don't you just give out my phone number right now on the live show? What the hell are we doing here, huh? I got enough bookies that are looking for me. Exciting week for East Coast gamblers. New York, yeah, that's right. It's now legal. Let's actually take a moment, pour a little out of our cup to a lot of out-of-work bookies this week. Illegal bookies, you've been doing a good job. You've been breaking legs over the holidays for years. We feel for you, crushing skulls when on Sundays, you never take a day off, you illegal bookies, and you've really gotten us to this point. But today, it's all about celebrating legal gambling. Another state has fallen victim to fun.
I mean, look what legal marijuana has done. I take gummies all the time now. Welcome, New York, to the club. Actually, crazy, but New York recorded 5.8 million geolocation transactions in the state's first hours of legal online betting. So, New York, you were waiting for this. You were holding in a fart, and now it's going good, and you have released. Go to thegameday.com, use the code GameDayNew for all the best sports books deals. Please. Thank you.
The only place you'll get a sports gambling / Dutch oven analogy is right here on Pregaming, and we'll break it down. In fact, Sarina, a native New Yorker, as you can tell by the accent and her giant hoop earrings, I believe when you're born in New York, they come with those giant hoop earrings. She will break down some of the most important gambling terms you will need if you'd like to be a successful gambler like this guy. Let's take a moment and just bask in the glory of what success looks like. This guy is about to win $1 million in a Survivor. Right there, the final play of last night's Chiefs game when they got that first down at the end. And there he is celebrating with an airplane-sized bottle of champagne. You'd think if you won $1 million, you'd go with the full size or the Magnum. But he went with the little travel size, huh?
He was like, I've got this ready in my pocket in case I get to celebrate. Wearing a backwards cap. Wow, class. Straight class. We're class too, guys. We're here every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern giving your best picks with gambling experts who actually gamble. We've got a degenerate. We've got someone who knows a thing or two about football. And we've got a show, Pregaming. And it's pretty exciting. Kevin and I are always trying to build our bet slips with the best picks for week 18. It's the season finale. Hope it's better than the season finale of Lost. Either way, I am personally also trying to get as many Red Cup dings as possible. Thank you.
You can't beg for them. That's pathetic right there. That's called panhandling. We don't accept that on the show. I'll say this, though. Remember, we are the least professional, most profitable pregame show. And if you just quickly, if you can pull up the bet slips from just last week. I mean, this is just, we spent about an hour together, interactive style. This was last week. Just look at how some of us did, right? I'm looking at, I don't know who this Kevin character is, but a 3-0 week is a pretty good week right there. Money was made for sure. Serena getting 2-1. Kenny, we will not hold that against Kenny, I'm sure. He was busy packing for a trip to Mexico that he didn't end up taking. And then Danny going with a perfect 2-0 in his picks as well. So listen, overall, I'm not a mathematician. That looks like an 87% as a team. Be paying attention today. We've got some great picks for you, some locks, and some good ways for you to make money on your Sunday. And welcome, New York, if you're with us for the first time. But let's not forget about the other states as well. Welcome, flyover states. It's good to see you too, huh?
Oh, those flyover states, you. All right, Kevin, you want to get to our 2-minute drill?
Let's do it. Listen, 2 minutes to break down what we believe are the biggest stories of the day. I don't even know if we can drop this on you yet, but the currently, as in a few moments ago, the Broncos are without a head coach. That man has been terminated, so he'll be in the unemployment line with all of those New York illegal bookies in the very near future. Let's talk about the fact that today is a day of playoff games and payoff games. And I look at them as very different games because you've got a lot of games that have some playoff implications, right? The big ones, obviously, are like the win you in, you lose, you're out. And that includes Chargers-Raiders. You got a Rams-Niners game that's got some interesting playoff implications, Saints as well. And then you've got the games that don't really have any implications for postseason, like Indy-Jacksonville or like the Giants-Washington. But I do think those are great games to make some money today. And when we get to my pick a little bit later, we'll break down why I feel like I've got the lock of the century in the New York-Washington game. But be aware and be listening for games. Some people think you don't put money on any game that the teams don't need to win because they're going to try stuff out. They're going to play around with some, give their third-string kicker an opportunity to go out there and kick one. There are games that have big payoff implications today, which I think we can all agree are way more important for us than playoff implications. So be paying attention to that specifically on today's show.
I like that.
Sarina.
I have a way more serious topic to talk about, and it's the fact that Will Smith farted at the Dolphins practice facility over the summer after doing a workout with Tua Tagovailoa. And we just got wind of this since the video was finally posted. And I'm starting to realize, Kevin, that maybe the reason the Dolphins have lost all those games at the beginning of the season is because the fart was still in the air. If you think about it, Will Smith, millionaire, very successful. A fart that Will Smith has, it's going to stay there for a while. So just thinking that might be the reason that they've lost all those games. They're going to play the Patriots today. And while their 7-game win streak has been snapped, it's interesting to know that Bill Belichick's 2-6 in Miami. It's something about that really nice weather that's like sun to a vampire. They melt. But yeah, the fart's finally aired out. I know our cappers are going to talk about it more in the Power Hour, but it's just something to consider.
If anything can cover up the smell of Bill Belichick's unwashed sweatshirt, it's going to be a stale Will Smith fart, I have a feeling, and we will, of course, get to that. Rare that you get 2 fart references within the first 5 minutes of the show, but I'm going to throw your third fart reference on right now, and this fart goes by the name of Jackson Mahomes. Take a look at this. I'll tell you, there is nothing I like less than watching this guy dance on the sideline. It bothers me so much. As far as I'm concerned, he should be banned from the NFL, banned from stadiums. As a guy that would give my left nut to be standing on the field at a game excited, I am so angry when I watch a guy attempting to blow up on TikTok dancing sideline style. It's funny because you think that Patrick Mahomes, one of the most likable guys in the world, even if you're not a Chiefs fan, there's something about him, you like him. His brother, he's like one branch removed on the family tree, and I have never met someone that I dislike more than that guy right there. So if I've ever rooted for a goalpost to topple over and fall on someone, that's the guy I want it to fall on right there.
Yeah, it's class spelled with a K. It's pretty sad. Either way, let's get to our rapid fire, Kevin.
Here we go.
First question. Jim Harbaugh, head coach of Michigan football, brother of John Harbaugh, the head coach of the Ravens, may be interviewing for the Raiders head coaching position. Kevin, what do you think of siblings coaching in the NFL?
Well, it's a great storyline for people like us to filibuster on, right? It always gives us something exciting. They always figure out a way to make them, some sort of a matchup, unexpected brotherly love. They get to do all that crap. Hey, listen, he was a good NFL. Let's not forget, before Michigan, some people forget because of short-term memory, legalization of marijuana, he was a pretty successful NFL coach, did a great job in San Francisco, and then made the move to Michigan, where I think people would question up until this season if his coaching there was even that great, and even this season it was good up until the end, and then didn't do so well in the bowl game. So I look at it and go, yes, people love siblings in the NFL. As long as it's not Jackson Mahomes and Patrick Mahomes, I'm okay with siblings in the NFL coaching.
And maybe just one Ryan, no Rex, or just one of the Ryans. They're both just too much. Like Rex on ESPN's enough for me. Antonio
we
Brown.
don't know what his brother's fetish is. We know what Rex Ryan's fetish is. We don't know what the other fetish is, right? I mean, what are the other body parts? We got the feet covered. What else? What do we got next?
Long hair and lots of popcorn. Either way, Antonio Brown. Another guy with his own fetishes. Went unclaimed on waivers. He is now a free agent. Was this the last time we see Antonio Brown in an NFL uniform?
I would have said it was the last time we saw him in an NFL uniform 3 teams ago, but it doesn't seem to stop because there will be injuries. There will be teams that eventually go, God, he's such a distraction, but he's such a talent. And maybe now he's grown up a little bit. That's the conversation they always have, right? That's what when Brady vouched for him, he goes, he's done some maturing since then. And it will happen again next season. So I have a feeling if it doesn't happen in the offseason, I think we will probably hear by like week 3 of next year when someone goes down with some sort of an Achilles injury that they go, all of a sudden, look who's coming in. It's Antonio Brown. And then he's going to make some statement about how he's grown up and he found God or Jesus or a combination of the both of them. And then boom, now he's ready. And then week 6, he'll rub his ass on the pylon and he'll be run off the field again. And everyone will go, why did we trust him this time? So yeah, the answer is super talented guy. It's too bad he's not playing because there's a lot of receivers that are still dropping balls. And Antonio Brown, so much talent, so fast. Unfortunately, such a distraction.
Yeah, Eagles could have used him yesterday. Maybe he ends up doing like a YouTube show with Patrick Mahomes' brother.
That's a good point. That would be very popular, I'm sure.
Is the worst food to serve at a stadium this? It's actually from an NBA game. It was the Houston Rockets who were like, oh, look, we have a special in this one section. And I believe that's Fruit Loops, mac and cheese, bacon on a hot dog.
Yeah, I'm going to sue them because I actually came up with that when I was 4. So they're stealing my idea. I believe I have the patent for that. I got to go call my mom and figure it out. But I'm pretty sure I developed that thing when I was 4. So I'm sure that'll do very well. Yeah, this is what we've gotten to. We've entered the part of society, Sarina, where it doesn't even go into, is this good? Will this taste good? It just becomes, will this get clicks and likes and shares?
Yeah.
And that's absurd. We don't do ridiculous things on this show like eat ghost pepper chips or eat dog food just to get the likes, right? We wouldn't do that. We're way too legitimate for that.
Too classy for that. Speaking of class, Jerry Jones. No, there are talks the Dallas Cowboys could host this year's Super Bowl with the new mask mandates being extended to 2 days after the Super Bowl. Kevin, do you think it gets moved or did they keep it here in Los Angeles?
Well, it's very interesting the way that they broke it down because they said every year they have a backup plan for Super Bowl. Every year, in case there's an issue, they have a plan to move it somewhere. But it seems weird that they didn't start making those phone calls until last week. It seems like if there was a backup plan in place, that backup plan goes into place when the actual plans go into place. I think at this point, now that Shaquille O'Neal has announced his big Super Bowl party in Los Angeles, being catered by both Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles and Pink's Hot Dogs, and with DJ Shaq behind the turntables, I find it hard to believe that they will move for that. Plus, there's all these stories about Dr. Dre stands to lose millions of his own personal money if the game gets moved. See, look, it'll boil down to a money thing. I think the parties around Los Angeles will be scaled down a little bit to accommodate the mask mandates, but I do believe that the Super Bowl will be staying right here. Although I'm very sure if anyone is pushing it hard, it's Jerry Jones behind the scenes doing everything he can do to get that thing moved to Dallas immediately. Arlington.
And I feel like he sent that tweet out. Dr. Dre has money. He's only spending half of his money in divorce, so it's okay. It's okay. He's got
a lot of money left. Hey, reminder, New York viewers, now that you can now gamble legally in New York, we've got a great promotion going on right now that you can make even more money. Bonuses, I believe, up to $3,000. Sarina, break it down, and then we'll tell them why they should pay attention to you, a native New Yorker who will prove it in a moment.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Go to thegameday.com to check out that last rapid fire. Sitting players in the last week, Kevin, yay or nay?
It's tough, right? No one has fantasy implications anymore, so it's not going to bother, Steve from accounting at your work. However, we've got money on these games, and sometimes it's tough when UFC players are supposed to play or the teams are very they're elusive as to what's going to happen, or you think they're going to start, but they don't tell you they're going to pull them out after a drive. It's like gambling on preseason sometimes. You don't know what you're going to get, which, by the way, I have gambled on preseason before. That's how you know I'm a real degenerate. So the fact of the matter is, yeah, players will be sitting. I mean, look, you saw what happened yesterday at the end of that Chiefs game. Last catch of the game, it was Travis Kelce, almost another injury right there. I mean, it came up limping a little bit, and yes, it did matter. It did end the game, but still, you're like, hold on, now all the teams start looking, going, do we want to risk one of our most important players at a play that doesn't necessarily matter? After Dak had thrown for 15 touchdowns last night, people were going, why the hell is this guy still in the game right now? Put him on the bench, let him rest up, give him an ice pack. But sometimes teams want to make a statement, and now's the time going in. So I want players to play. I think they always should, but I understand why, in this league, people go defense over offense. So a lot of them, I think, will be sitting on the bench, unfortunately, wearing giant coats.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for Rapid Fire. Let's get into our Power Hour. And let's bring in our friends, Kenny Betts Big, Danny Brasco. Remember, go to thegameday.com and check out all of the special promos we have. Use the code GameDayNew. Welcome, my friends. Danny, are you celebrating with all the rest of the New Yorkers? I believe, according to Kevin, you can just go to Walgreens and just,
put your bets
bet in there.
Place your bets.
Right. Yeah. Man, we are freaking happy. Let me say from all of us on behalf of New York, bing bong, because we are in the mix right now. It went a little crazy. The promotions, the bonuses. I got 10 friends trying to send me their referral code. Everyone's getting mad at each other. There's just so much right now. My biggest advice to New Yorkers who are excited to get 4 new sportsbook, Slow your roll. Slow your roll. There's a whole year of gambling. We got the Super Bowl coming up. Don't do everything in one day.
Okay.
I feel like New York. I feel like there's probably someone that's already made $1 million just on promo code referrals. They haven't even won a game yet. It's kind of wild. I feel
you could do that. You could go across all the books, take all those little promos, and scrape the free money and get your bankroll up right away. So it's free money they're giving away to start. Just the trick is don't lose it back.
Okay. I'm just glad that Antonio Brown got an Uber and left New York, New Jersey, the tri-state area safely. Kenny,
go viral out here.
Let's see.
Short but viral. Hey, Bizzle, talk to him, Cheech. Come on, baby.
Man, listen, this is gonna make my nephew.
You know what time it is, boy. Fucking New York, Super Gremlin. Super Gremlin. You know what time it is, baby. You know the fucking vibes, boy.
So he just became best friends?
I can't even get my Uber driver to help me with my luggage. Like, I'm shocked.
Right.
They're like hanging out now. It's wild. Can't figure that out.
A Bizzle.
Gotta love that, right?
I don't know. Now what he's coming out with, saying they were forcing him to play injured. Arian says he wanted the ball more. It just never ends with AB. It's a saga.
It's always good to prove your point that you're injured by jogging off of the field with a perfectly good, and then wearing those shoes. I mean, dude, I wear heels and there's no way I'm jogging or anything in that stuff. So I choose to wear kicks on a regular basis. I don't even think I could wear heels because of COVID. I haven't put on a freaking pair of heels in forever. I'd fall. Oh, man. All right, let's get our calf muscles moving. Kenny, I love it. You are going with the Lions. The Lions, they're fighting so hard. And man, Campbell, the head coach with his losing record this season. Either way, they are still tied for third best in covering percentage. They're 10-6 against the spread. So Kenny, I'm so excited I said Kevin's name again. Give it to me. Sock it to me. Let's hear it.
I know you probably thought this was Kevin's play because Kevin, I think, has been the only one that's been on the Lions this year. Listen, I'm going to preface this like this. This is the Lions. So when you're listening to me tell you why you should bet the Lions, don't go bet all your money on the Lions. They're playing the Packers still. If you watched the show last week, you heard me say how teams coming off, a 17-plus point loss the week prior cover at a 60% clip. I gave you the Washington football team versus the last week at +6. They covered. They lost by 4. This week, we have the Lions coming off a 17-plus point loss. Brasco even took that stat a step further last week and said teams that are coming off a 17-plus point win don't cover that well either. And we had the Cowboys coming off that huge Sunday night win over the Washington football team, and they were playing the Cardinals last week, outright loss. So what do we have here? We have the Packers coming off a more than 17-point win, and we have the Lions coming off a 17-plus point loss. I love this spot here for the Lions today at home, getting the 3.5 versus the Packers. We don't really know who's going to be playing too much, but I think the Lions are going to come out hungry for this one and cover the spread. I saw a stat the other day that the Lions are one of the first teams in NFL history to win less than 3 games, but cover more than 50% of the games. So great team to bet on.
And you got to feel good. Like, it's always, like you said, it takes a brave man to back the Lions. But, if we've seen anything from Dan Campbell's team, whether they get blown out, whether they lose in heartbreaking fashion, the next week they come to play. Like, that's a physical group. They're going to come and try to crack you. There's heart, there's integrity on that team despite their record. So, and it goes to show in their record against the spread. So, if you're betting on the Lions, at least they play for your money.
ATS, baby. Remember, we saw good teams win, great teams cover. The Lions, a shitty team, pretty much has been that way all season long, but the coverage percentage has been pretty strong, and there's certain times when they do it. And when these bad teams know that they're going to look back at the 2022 season, 2021, 2022 season as pretty much a dud of a season, which is what it will be for the Lions, they need those highlights to kind of build on for next year. And what better way than to beat a team that's probably going to be going to the Super Bowl or something like that. I mean, so there's incentive for them, like Kenny said. I think Kenny was making the point last week. He picked some game we were talking about. He's like, this is their Super Bowl. Like, in some ways, this is the Lions Super Bowl today. So why would they not be putting everything out there where the Packers are kind of like, let's rest up and get ready for actual teams?
That's right.
And
Jared Goff is
the
also
Lions,
coming back.
do well. Yeah, what the Lions do well is run the ball. The Packers are giving up 4.8 yards per carry, so it'll be interesting. I think the Lions can find some success today.
Yeah, I'm all in. All right, Kenny, let's keep it rolling here. Niners at Rams in Los Angeles, SoFi Stadium. I believe the spread opened at -5.5. Kenny, I remember earlier this season you were all over the Niners last time these two teams played. You're going with the Rams here. How come?
Yeah, that was a big Monday night win for me. The first time these guys played, I was all over the Niners. But I said it week one we did the show. If you have two quarterbacks, you really have none. Kyle Shanahan, I think he's doing too much, right? He hasn't announced who the starter is going to be, who's playing today. The Rams are ramping up for the playoffs. I've been on this team the last few weeks. If you caught my YouTube video, you saw my big win on the Rams. So this is my Super Bowl pick. I think they're going to win it all. I think they have the most talented team in the NFL, offense, defense. I say it every week that I talk about the Rams. Sean McVay is the best offensive-minded coach in the NFL. The Niners are 5-0 against the Rams the last 5 times these teams have met. So I think this is a perfect spot for the Rams to get right, keep it rolling heading into the playoffs. And a win here could potentially bounce the Niners out of the playoffs. So what better way to get the first win over, Kyle Shanahan and the Niners than to bounce them out of the playoffs? I love the Rams here today. Yeah.
Wow, this is interesting because Kenny, I remember that Monday night game very clearly. I was leaning Niners, and your confidence. I remember that was one of the bigger bets you made this season. You were super confident, so I rode with you. And this is the same line, but flipped. The Niners were plus 3.5 in that one, and the Rams were on this. They had just gotten Von Miller and Odell, right? You called them a Madden squad. Why the line looked fishy, and in fact, you were right. Now you're going to go to the other side, flipped at 3.5. On the Rams in what should be, like you're saying, one of the more intense games of the week, division rivals. One can play spoiler and kick the other out of the playoffs. So I find it interesting. You're on the other side, flip the line, but it's compelling if you see it the opposite way this time. And we know what it's like in the second matchup between division rivals a lot of the time.
There's a lot of bets and a lot of money on the 49ers currently. We still have a few hours till kickoff, so that could obviously change pretty drastically. But anytime you get a road underdog with a lot of money, a lot of action on them, perfect fade spot. I'd say it all the time. And there's just something about this. Like, all week I've been seeing the 49ers 5-0 versus Sean McVay and the Rams, 5-0 against the spread. So there's just all this hype that I think a lot of people are starting to buy into the 49ers here. And I think that's good bulletin board material for McVay and this Rams team, who definitely is the better team.
Remember, if you have specific questions about the games we're talking about, or players, props, perhaps overs, unders, anything else you're thinking about, get them to us in the comments below, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, however you're watching us right now live. We will get to the rapid-fire Q&A with your questions before we get out of here. And it's important because in the past, in fact, I was reading some of the comments, someone who asked us a question 2 weeks ago, we gave them an answer. I don't remember what the question was or the answer. They ended up turning that into $2,000. That is someone who took our advice and they became profitable. As we said, least professional, most profitable. Come for the money, stay for the funny. This is a game day operation that we have here. And as you can tell, we've spared every expense to make this thing look professional. This is really, we don't have much going on here. But Sarina did dress up for this. And if you're new to gambling, and I don't want to cut away from the game, this is important, especially for our New Yorkers. Just look at what Sarina does, bro. I don't know if even Sarina wants me to play this video. This is Sarina explaining, and I think this is good. I think our cappers are going to like this. This is Sarina breaking down the terms as they apply specifically to New Yorkers, but, especially rookie gamblers. Take a listen.
This is the New York City accent challenge. Money line, backdoor cover, dime. Fuck is you betting about? Dog, dollar, wise guy, handicapper, straight up, high roller, juice, odds maker, parlay, stupid. And you're stupid if you're in New York right now and you're not gambling.
Woo!
Don't be stupid.
I love that last one. Sarina, let me get you're stupid if you're betting again, if you're fading Kenny Bets Big. Let me hear one of those with that New York accent.
You're stupid if you're betting against Kenny Bets Big right now. You're stupid.
So you know how she's from New York is when you pronounce stupid with a T at the end. Stupid, that's how you know you're from New York.
I've gone to restaurants with I've gone to restaurants with Sarina. They told us the wait is an hour and a half for a table. She puts on that voice. We're sitting in 11 seconds. They're so intimidated by it. Unbelievable.
And you just take off the hoop earrings at that point. And you're like, excuse me, I'm waiting. And they're like, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Yeah, that's how you do it. That's how you get your money's worth at a bodega. All right, Danny, let's get to your games because we have the Patriots at Dolphins and Captain Underpants strikes again. Danny, I'd like to think that the Patriots as like the reverse Chargers here. They're consistent, predictable, and they're not this explosive, flashy offense. That's kind of how I think about them.
The like little like idioms and saying you guys have totally messed me up the whole show, and I'm thinking about them like reverse Chargers, and also I haven't stopped thinking about that Will Smith fart. Like I have so many questions, but we'll move on. Yeah, I'm looking at the Dolphins, like Scientology, inertia, too many questions. Dolphins, Patriots, under 40.5. You already know my moniker, king of the under over here. I'm back at it. First off, to start, we look at unders, and I always look at weather conditions first, and I want to see that those support my under. 26 degrees, 10 plus mile per hour winds. So you already like the start of that between division rivals here who should want to beat each other. Of course, you want to bet on games where the motivation is very clear. You know the teams are going to play. You hope that the starters will play at least 3 quarters, right? But, these teams, you see in the guy right in front of you here on the screen, one of them has Tua Tagovailoa at quarterback, and I've been fading him and talking smack about him all year. And finally, I've been proved right under a microscope in a primetime game where, it wasn't primetime game, but against the Titans, where he just completely got stifled. And this sick run that the Dolphins were on was completely on the back of the defense and the fantastic head coaching. But they have a quarterback that's just not ready yet. And now they're playing a Patriots defense who's fantastic, and we know this. I think the defenses get up for this game because this is sort of Miami's Super Bowl. They can actually, ensure that the Patriots don't win the AFC East, so that'd be nice to play spoiler. The Bills are going to win it because they're playing the Jets, but that still is technically on the line. And in fact, this is a revenge spot. Week 1, the Dolphins beat the Pats, and here they are playing each other at the last week of the season, Week 18. So Bill Belichick, I don't think, lies down for any game and just kind of calls it a night. I don't care who's out there on the defensive side for the Pats. I think they're going to stop Tua. If they can't stop Tua, well, the running game is 31st in the NFL, so they can't lean on the run. Bill Belichick against rookie QB is 23-6. Say less. We're fading Tua. No Dolphins offense. I see this one being super low scoring in a cold game. Give me the under 40.5.
What a shocker there. Let's all act surprised that he took the under of a low-scoring game. But let's just talk about this for a second, because you mentioned what could happen. How could New England still become number 1 in the AFC? I saw a prop yesterday. You can get them right now. I think it's still plus 1,200. So look about that. What would have to happen, right? They would have to beat the Dolphins today, which I don't think will be an issue. And then you need the Jets to somehow beat the Bills, which seems crazy, but those also seem like teams that randomly, just historically, have always had close games. And even when the Bills have been better, the Jets have somehow won those games. As someone who went to school in upstate New York where gambling is now legal, I went to quite a few of those games in Buffalo and saw those 2 of them battle it out. So I feel like that plus 1,200 for New England to somehow be tops of the AFC, there's something interesting about that you could potentially still get that as a payoff by the end of the day today.
And hey, we've seen the Jets play spoiler more than a few times this season. Imagine they beat the Bills and the Pats end up taking that AFC East. Everything changes then. So watch that Bills-Jets game. There's going to be a lot of scoreboard watching today.
Oh, yeah. I know. That's my game, Kevin. We'll get to it in a second. Also, Danny, the Patriots have allowed 10 points or less in 6 games this season. That's the most in the NFL. I do like your under, too. Just defense. That usually means no points. So, with your next game, again, Danny.
These low totals, too, right? Kevin, I know you're going to be on a total later, so we'll talk about it when you get to your game. But low totals they're scary to play, and you sweat them out. But they're set there for a reason, and I usually gravitate towards those instead of the super high ones, right? I want the low-scoring game that's expected.
All right, well, let's get to the next game. Saints-Falcons. Huge game for New Orleans, right? If they win and the Niners win, the Saints go marching into the playoffs. And you like the Saints in this one, Danny?
Yeah, I do. So speaking of scoreboard watching and intensity, right, what's on the line? Like you just mentioned, right? If the Saints win and the Niners lose, and Kenny's got Rams beating the Niners today, then the Saints are in the playoffs. So despite this injury-ridden season and everything they've dealt with, trying to figure out their identity, choosing a new quarterback, having their quarterbacks go down, here they are, win and in, and all they have to hope for is a Niners loss. They're playing one of the best teams in the NFL, so that could very well happen. In the last 4 games, the Saints defense is standing on its head. They're playing ridiculous. Average points against 8 points. Some baseball pitchers give up more points than that per game. They give up 9 to the Jets. They blanked Tom Brady and the Bucs, 3 to the Dolphins, and 10 to the Carolina Panthers in the last one. Over those last 4 games, 17 sacks. So this defense is basically just saying, look, we're going to take over now. We're going to move our team towards a playoff push. We know Taysom Hill on that offense doesn't have too much flash to it. So we're going to just lean on our defense, chew the clock, play that possession, control style on offense, and stop you on the other side. And that's what they've been doing. Well, what a prime matchup for them against this lowly Falcons team who somehow has a decent enough record, but their stats are just god-awful. I mean, I have no idea how they're even in this position that they were in the hunt. The Falcons are second to last in rushing yards, so good luck running the ball against the Saints. And they're second to last in number of plays. They're not even on the field to do anything. They're just getting off the field. On the other side, they're bottom 5 against the run. Kamara, Hill, going to run it down your throat all day. And the Falcons just won't be able to do anything, I think. Their offense is anemic. Kyle Pitts is questionable. He's their best talent on the offensive side. If he doesn't play, does Matt Ryan even have the ball to throw to? And look, just to cap it off, here are the Falcons' wins. I talked about that they actually have some wins this season. They only beat bad teams. They lost to the Bills. They exclusively only beat bad teams. I was going to go down the lineup for you guys just to fully confirm that this Falcons team is completely fraudulent. But, throughout the season, you see them just bounce back and forth between wins against terrible opponents and then a loss against a quality team, right? Beat the Panthers, lose to the Dolphins, so things like that. So, I don't see it for the Falcons at all here. And I would prefer that you get the Saints to -2.5. I don't love that hook in a game with low scoring. Get it under a field goal. I got that for -150 on FanDuel, legal in New York. 2.5 is what I like. So Saints, 2.5 is the play. They might get in the playoffs if Kenny's Rams come through.
Not if, when.
That's playoff implication. That's playoff versus payoff. You could do both. That's interesting. You hybridized the two of them. You gave us something that actually has there's playoff merit there, and yet money to be made. So let's do it. Some people, I don't know. If you guys,
just to cap it off, another revenge spot. The Falcons in week 1, or sorry, not in week 1, but earlier in the season, somehow beat the Saints team, and since then have just gone on a pretty terrible run. They lost by 40 to the Cowboys. They got blanked by the Patriots. So the Saints want revenge as well. I couldn't ask for a better spot.
And now it's time for Jackson Mahomes to dance for no reason. Hit it.
What is he even dancing to? Goodness
So
gracious.
cringy.
It is
What do you think the Mahomes' parents think? Imagine that, imagine being Jackson Mahomes at Thanksgiving, your brother's Patrick fucking Mahomes,
Yes.
one of the best NFL players ever, and you're doing that shit.
Yes.
Man, his dad must hate him.
He doesn't eat his vegetables. He's you're not even going to touch your vegetables. He goes straight for opens the freezer for ice cream every time. And poor Patrick is
every time someone wants him to every time someone wants him to pass the mashed potatoes, he has to do one of these things.
Yeah.
Mashed potatoes, you asshole.
Or,
we don't need
I'm picturing him just always with the phone in hand, he's at the Thanksgiving table, and he's like, I'm passing my dad the mashed potatoes. Check it out.
If I was Mr. Mahomes, for every Jackson Mahomes TikTok dance, I would tie him to a tree and let Patrick Mahomes rifle footballs at him. If that was my son. What is he doing?
Guys, he's going to be in the next Jake Paul fight. That's what he's going to end up doing. Let's be all real here. Gosh.
That's the trajectory, right? That's where he's at.
That's what he wants to do. Kevin,
I wouldn't even give him that much credit, man.
Yeah, welcome. Listen, guys, welcome to the Clown Show, huh? This is the game I'm talking about today. No playoff implications. I think most bettors will stay far, far away from this battle between the NFC least. But if you paid any attention to the bagels and locks, I explained to you in all sincerity and clarity why you should take the under 37. It keeps going lower and lower, which makes me a little... I'm not going to say worried, but it was 41. I think when I mentioned it, it was at the 38.5. I think currently it's at 37. It keeps dropping, which is an indication of how little faith anyone in the world has in either offense to perform, both Washington and New York. And now that gambling is legal in New York, does that do anything for the Giants or the Giants fans? Probably not. You're looking at some of the best plays of the season right now that we're showing you, and these are all teams falling over and dropping the ball. Still the highlights. I mean, here's the thing. If you want to pay attention, just on unders alone right now, the Giants are on an 8-3 under streak right now. 8-3 have gone under. Washington is on an 8-2 under streak right now. So if you just play the streaks, they've been hitting a lot more unders than overs, and 37 is low. It is uncomfortable, and yes, I did get rocked on that over last night with the Dallas. Didn't see that coming. Dallas-Philly. Similar NFC East teams battling. I thought it was going to be a little bit more low scoring than it was. Wasn't expecting a 70, 80-point total. But still, today is one of those ones, and I'd love Captain Underpants to back me up here, that I think you were going to have an ugly, quote-unquote clown show, as it's being called. You're going to look at a final somewhere in that 17-10, maybe even a 17-3 range or something like that. I think that's what you'll get. I think you got a couple of teams that have nothing to play for, nothing to lose, but also nothing to win. And I think it'll be a low-scoring, ugly offensive performance from both teams.
Kevin, I'm riding. Mike Glennon, who is perhaps the worst quarterback in the NFL, is out. Guess who steps in? Jake Fromm. He might be worse. I think he is worse. Jake Fromm starting for the Giants today. They have not played to an over yet at home in Meadowlands this season. 0-6-1 to the under. So no games have gone over when the Giants are at home. There's wind. It's pretty cold out. Under streaking for both teams. I like your angles. I'm riding.
I actually have a Jake Fromm autographed rookie card that I've been waiting for this moment. Like, this is his shining moment right here. If he comes out and lights it up, that card might be worth $1. So I'm banking on Jake Fromm to come out and light it up. Now, I think
Kenny, I'll give you 50 cents for that card right now before kickoff. 50 cents. You want it? I'll Venmo you as you speak.
Jared, send it to me in Crow Coin, though.
Crow Coin.
Yeah, I like the under here too. I think the Washington and the under teased is a nice play too. I don't think there's any way Washington loses this game outright. We heard the coaches going back and forth earlier this week. I think Joe Judge said like Washington's franchise is like an embarrassment, and Ron Rivera was chirping back. So I think there's more energy coming from the coaches than the players. And I know our like show mantra earlier this year was like sorry Detroit. I think it's sorry New York. The Giants may be the worst franchise in the NFL. I think it was 4 or 5 years now they've gone without having a winning record at any point in the season. That's
sadness.
Yeah.
Just sadness surrounds me. Kenny's right. I want to dispute it. I can't. I have no points to dispute it. And honestly, that teaser spot looks money, dude. Football team right now at -6 and the over-under at 37. Tease it to a pick'em, 6-point teaser. Tease Washington to pick'em and the under 43. Kenny, I love that.
There's a lawsuit that basically says that the New York Giants and New York Jets aren't allowed to use New York in their title anymore, and I'm all for that. And that's where I'll get to my game with two New York teams, the Jets at Buffalo. This was odd for me to see this large spread for this game because unlike the New York Giants, the New York Jets have actually improved, even though they have the same record right now. 5 of the Jets' losses this year have been by 1 possession. And, sure, the team is 4-12, like I mentioned. But, again, they've played solid football. And if Antonio Brown didn't run off the field with his bad ankle, you might have noticed that the game was really close against the Bucs last week. Also, it's a possibility that maybe the Bills will overlook this matchup because of their postseason future. The Bills are going to win, yes, but 16.5 points. I think the Jets have something to fight for, and they're not going to go down quietly. So make some money here. Put some money on the New York Jets and Robert Saleh.
I saw a prop bet, guys, that said, will the Jets as a team put up over 10.5 points today as a team? And it was like an even money prop bet right there. I love that one as well. I think that 16.5, I mean, I think we all have to be, maybe we're suckers, but is there any reason that we should be talked out of putting money on the Jets here other than using the phrase putting money on the Jets here?
That's it. That's the reason. You named it.
Oh, man. All right, let's get quickly to our bet slips, and then we'll get to Kevin's totally exclusive prop bet. But let's take a look. Kevin, what are you going with today?
Listen, I'm coming off of a perfect 3-0 week last week. Just a reminder, my bet slip was flawless last week. So here's what I got going on today. As I mentioned a moment ago, the Washington football team that's already focused on whatever their new name will be against the New York Giants, like in the under in that one, under 37. It keeps dropping lower and lower. Don't be fooled. Take the under, low-scoring affair. I love what I have to fade Danny on this one, and I have a feeling that Miami Pats game is going to go over. I'm sorry, Danny. I love you as a person. I respect you as a gambler, but unfortunately, I got to go the opposite of you on this one. And of course, I'll be riding with Kenny Bets Big. I believe with his pick that the Rams at 3 or 3.5 or whatever it is, whatever you got the line at, are going to win happily and soundly at home.
All right. And I'm going with the Jets in this one. Take the plus 16.5, even though it says the under there. Tom, fix that. And I'm also going with Kenny, Packers, Lions. Like, look at us just taking off these weird underdogs today. And I'm also going with Danny on the under for Patriots, Miami, because look at that. We're just changing things in real time. I'm taking the under Patriots, Miami too. So let's do that. Make your money. So far, Kevin's winning this. Good to be a degenerate these days. With that said, degenerate Kevin Klein, let's hear your totally exclusive prop bet.
Yeah, before we do that, let me just read some of the comments that are flying through on today's live show, Sarina. If someone is commenting on the looks of this show, I want you to know it's at least a positive one for you. A commenter by the name of Roach Lembe says, Sarina Morales is beautiful. Probably would be a top 5 hottest female sports analyst in TV, in my opinion. But this is not about physical appearance here, clearly. Look at the other 3 of us. This is about giving you locks and ways to win some money. But congratulations. We appreciate the interaction, the comments. Always appreciate it. Get your questions to us because we'll answer them in just a few moments. If you've got plays you're thinking about, props, maybe you've got some open parlays, maybe some teases going on with some college football, whatever you need from us, we're here for you. Let's break it down. All right, totally exclusive prop. Here we go. As we mentioned a moment ago, guys, gambling is legal in New York. It's been legal in New Jersey. What does that do for all the bookies now, the illegal bookies? Well, they're all unfortunately going to be out of work. So I have for you the totally exclusive prop as to what these illegal bookies will be doing next in their careers. Here we go. At 10-1 odds, guys, they will be starting their own legal sports book called Cappers, and Kneecappers, which is a very catchy name if you break kneecaps for a living. At 25-1, some of these illegal bookies are going to join forces with the out-of-work Urban Meyers and start a new hair salon called College Curls, which is a great name for a hair salon. Who's with me? Realistically, though, everyone knows where the money is, and these cappers, these out of work bookies, are going to do what Jackson Mahomes has done and start their own TikTok dance channel. Guys, this is what it's all about now. The cappers cannot, as you know, bookies can't be left out here as well. They need to do it. They need to make where the money is. And finally, at 100-1, but realistically, this is the odds-on favorite bet. They will be replacing the 4 of us next year, right here with Pregaming, when you'll have actual former bookies taking you through the games. It's been real.
There you have it. Totally exclusive prop bet. And thanks to Roche Lembe. I believe it's just like, you know, when the hot girls come in, but they're not really all that good looking, but then there's like the best looking one of them. So thank you to Danny, Kenny, and Kevin for just making me look that much better.
Rough.
Oh man, you want to get to some primetime action because we've got the Chargers, Raiders. Let's have it. I'm really excited for this game. I believe it'll be a close one. But let's go round robin and have our primetime game so we can punish each other at some point, huh?
It's been a while. I feel like no one's been punished in a little bit.
And we haven't, so let's actually go for it.
Yeah,
this is a win-in for both teams.
You know what I'm going to do? And we don't have to make this the punishment, but I'm just going to do it because out of respect for you guys, I'm going to do that hot chip challenge. Like, I never stopped thinking about it after you did it. It looked insane, and I just want to experience what you experienced, you know? So I'm going to do it, and I'll let you guys know.
You don't. I think that's what Will Smith had when he farted at the Dolphins practice.
That's 100% a fact.
This game, as Sarina said, this is the game that matters most. I think some would call it the game of the week easily. It's one of those rare occasions where you have two teams. Both of them have shown greatness this season, surprising greatness. Both of them have shown terribleness. You don't know what to expect from either team, but you do know that at least, you know, I'll let Kenny kick things off here. There's a big implication for gambling, as we are talking about with New York. And when you think gambling, you think Las Vegas. LA already has a team that's going to be going deep into the playoffs. Do they need two? Kenny, how do you see this one happening? And then we will go ahead and take sides before we figure out the primetime punishment.
So you guys obviously know, I've been saying it for a while now, the NFL is fixed. And if this game being placed on Sunday Night Football, the last game of the regular season, to determine the last playoff spot in the AFC, doesn't just further prove that, then you get your head out of the sand, because the Raiders are winning this game outright. The +3 is a gift. The NFL wants the Raiders in the playoffs after all the turmoil they went through this year. Vegas is one of their biggest markets, their NFL markets. They put a team there for a reason. You know, we heard about it for so long, how gambling was taboo and, you know, you didn't want to be near people who are gambling. Well, now gambling's taken over the world and everyone wants to be around it. So I think, the Raiders are a lock tonight.
Wow. Oh, Danny?
I couldn't be more on the opposite side. I love the Chargers. And I figured Kenny would be on the Raiders. It might be sort of like what they call like sharps versus squares. Kenny's taking the sharp lines, but I'm looking at the X's and O's. And, his angle it's an interesting one. And I could see, right, Vegas winning whilst, more states are legalized betting. Of course, that's something you could think about. But I'm looking on the field at the X's and O's. And this Raiders team is so much worse than this Chargers team. Of course, any given Sunday, we've seen the Chargers give up huge leads, so it's really hard to trust them. They play in these insane games. I mean, we all remember that primetime game against the Chiefs not so long ago. I mean, they just, they're always in thrillers. But the Raiders are so lucky to be here. This little 3-game win streak they're on, they played the Browns with Nick Mullins just to win by 2 points. Then they beat the Broncos and only scored 17 in that one. And then they beat the injury and COVID-ridden Colts in a shocker, which you give Derek Carr some credit. He played well, but I just don't think they deserve to be here. Rich Bisaccia has coached his ass off even to get them to this point. And I just think their luck runs out against a way more talented team. One X and O I will give you, it's my favorite one angle on this game, is that the Raiders blitz at some of the lowest rate in the NFL. Justin Herbert is one of the best passers when teams do not blitz against him. When you give him a clean pocket and you're not sending pressure, he's top rated in QBR and passing yards and yards per play and all sorts of stats. So in terms of that defensive scheme, look, maybe they switch some things up, but all you got to do is block Max Crosby. The Raiders have some guys missing. Jonathan Abram is out. He's been playing sick defense. He's done. So I think this one's for the Chargers to get in the playoffs here. And I love them tonight.
Kevin, quick, let's hear it.
Well, I'll team up with Kenny on this one for all the reasons he already said, but just because I don't even know if the Raiders are going to win the game, but I do think if they do lose, they'll lose by 2 or something like that. So it'll be. I like the game regardless. I like the Raiders. I like the over in this one as well. If it matters, I think it'll be a points of Palooza. It's going to be this is like a wake up world and start getting ready to gamble on postseason action. This game is an infomercial for gambling, is the way I look at it, and I'm very excited to be watching it and gambling on it as well. So get ready. 2 huge. Kenny said it all. I'm done. I've moved on.
I'm also going to say that the Raiders will cover. I think the Chargers will win, but I think this is an exciting game, which means Danny already picked his primetime punishment. He's going to join us in the Hot Chip Challenge. So let's see how this goes out.
Wow, I really dug myself a hole there, didn't I? I mean, I asked for it. Reap what you sow, right? Reap what you sow.
Let's get to our fan questions. Thanks everyone for joining us today. Send in your questions. We're getting to those right now. First question: will the Packers and Bucks both win? With 3 question marks, which means they're really serious about this question. Oh, Danny, you are giving me a face. You're not sure.
So, I mean, Kenny broke down that Lions-Packers game. I do think the Bucks will win. Right. They need to get right. They've had all sorts of weird drama going on with AB. They haven't looked all that great, so I think they need to fix a few things. I think they'll beat the Panthers for sure.
Okay.
The Packers Lions is sketchy, and Kenny told us why, so I'm not touching that.
Don't touch it. Leave it alone. Isn't this week a bad week to bet in general, degenerate Kevin Klein?
There's no such thing as a bad week to bet in general. Keep in mind, I've lost money and won money on international table tennis. I've gambled when there was no sports at the beginning of the pandemic. I was betting on neighborhood joggers that were jogging around, guessing what time they'd run by my house. So I feel that every week is a great week to gamble. And as I talked about playoff versus payoff implications from the very beginning of this show, if you look hard enough, there's some great value. And yes, you don't necessarily know what players you'll get and how hard they'll be trying, et cetera, et cetera. But I think there's even more of a reason, especially if you like those unders. I think this is a great week to ride those unders a little bit. And no, every week's a great week for gambling, especially this week. Because keep in mind, we only have a few weeks of NFL football left, and then the big depression starts. So let's get it out now. Let's get broke now.
And then we have to look at basketball. Dallas is still, which I love. Dallas is still plus 1,200 to win the Super Bowl. Kenny, doesn't that seem like a good bet?
Hell no.
Negative.
It's the Cowboys. The Cowboys are going to do what the Cowboys do when it comes time to win a game in the playoffs, and they're going to lose. I actually have a pretty big bet with a couple people that the Rams go further than the Cowboys in the playoffs. I'm definitely going to be fading the Cowboys in round one because if the season ended right now, I believe they're playing the Cardinals in round one. And I went heavy on the Cardinals last week. I said the Cardinals are going to win that game. And yeah, if they match up against the Cardinals, they're out in round one.
Bada bing, bada boom. Better bet. Reverse or two-team parlay, Danny?
I'm not a big reverse guy. They're interesting. I'm also not a big parlay guy. If you are going to parlay stuff, I do like the 2 legs, right? Don't make it these 6, 7, 8 leg tickets. They're just not going to hit. If you want to have some fun, make a lotto ticket. By all means, have some fun. But know you're doing it for fun. If you keep complaining, why won't my parlay hit? It's like the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and expecting a different result. You're just bashing your head against the wall. So have some fun. And if you're going to do some parlays, do a 2-legger. That could hit. I like a 2-team.
Yeah, but if you feel really good about it or you got some inside information, let's go ahead and talk about odds for a second. Because a $50 reverse, you get paid off $200, 4 times your money if both sides hit. A parlay, you may only get double that. It depends. So, yes, I know that these are all things that as professionals we're supposed to say things. Well, I'm not a professional, but I would imagine Danny would say, stay away from them in general. Those are suckers plays. But I love a good reverse. I got crushed on a reverse last night. I was all over the Broncos. I knew the Broncos would keep that game close, and I loved the Broncos. Unfortunately, I reversed it with the under in the nighttime game last night, and as you saw how that played out. But I only lost half my money. If you do lose both sides of reverse, though, you do lose double your bet. Be aware of that. So there are things to think about when you break down the actual odds with gambling. But don't bad talk to reverses in front of me, Danny Brasco.
You're
especially
like
with his neon signs.
Yeah, I have a client who she puts like little parlays in sporadically. Like, well, they're not little; they're pretty big parlays, but they're like $50, $100. She sent me one Saturday night, $67 to win $45,000. She hit. It was a 14-team parlay, insane. So there are people out there that are doing it.
Wow.
It's possible.
That's
but
like
yeah, I mean, the Powerball, it's never your deli that you find the winning Powerball ticket, right? It kind of works like that.
It gets crazier. The last bet she needed, it was over in the Sixers game. The guy missed 2 free throws with 10 seconds left to make it push. So it would have gone over and she would have won like $84,000. But yeah.
Hey man, 45, that's a
big
dub.
Public... Well, next question. What big public play do you guys what big public play today? You guys like it or not? That's English, Kevin?
I think maybe the question is what's the big public play? Where's all the public on?
Like,
what's the
I'm Ron Burgundy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read whatever's on the screen.
I think the person wants to buy a vowel. I don't know. It's funny. That'd be a question for Kenny or Danny. I'm not really sure. I would imagine just based on things, the public would be all over, like New England. Like I think some of those favorites probably have the public riding them pretty hard today. But I don't know. Once again, today's a bit of a gamble, pun intended.
From what I'm seeing, and Kenny, you can go after me and let me know. But from what I'm seeing, I see a lot of money on the Patriots and the Titans. And that's actually a game I'm betting too. The Titans with a chance to lock up the number 1 seed just by beating the Texans. They're -10. What I love is for them to come out to a fast start and try to go get after that number 1 seed and seal the deal early. So I'm taking Titans first half -6. That's a public play that I actually do like. Very clear cut. Go get the 1 seed. Much better team. First half -6 for the Titans. I'm riding that.
I like that. I like that. All right. Well, go ahead, Kenny.
Oh no, I was just gonna say like the Patriots are a big public team today. Titans, Packers, Bucks. Usually, especially in the NFL, it's usually the same teams every week that the public are all over, like the Chiefs, the Bucks, those got the Packers. So whenever those teams win and cover outright, the books don't have a good weekend.
Yeah, but keep in mind, the public was all over the Chiefs yesterday. I mean, they were 10.5-point favorites last night. Public was all over them to the tune of, I think, over 70% of bets, and you saw what happened. So just be aware. And usually, I had a great week last week, and it was almost exclusively for going against the public. So I thank the public and blame the public at the exact same time.
Oh, story of my life. Quarterback to throw for most yards today. Let's see Danny is. We're trying to think. Let's think. Who's playing today? We don't know who's playing today.
You want to go for a crazy shot? Probably plus $1 million. Jake Fromm.
Yeah.
Fromm.
No,
Tyler
not that.
Huntley.
He'll throw for the lead.
Okay. Yeah.
Derek Carr, easy.
Derek Carr. Boom.
Justin Herbert is my answer.
Herbert.
Yeah, opposite.
There you go. We got Raiders, Chargers. Enough said. Next question. Lions, Ravens parlay at plus 2,700. How do we feel about that? Whoever makes
Sarina,
the weirdest face.
You're really Ron Burgundy. It's plus 270.
You're right.
Serena, let's go.
Wow,
Play the video of Serena teaching herself about sports terms now, so that we can go ahead and make sure that she knows what the hell she's talking about. Can we get that video up? I mean, this is
the New York City accent challenge. Money line, backdoor cover, dime. Fuck is you betting about? Dog, dollar, wise guy, handicapper, straight up, high roller, juice, odds maker, parlay, stupid. And you're stupid if you're in New York right now and you're not gambling.
You're stupid if you can't read numbers correctly. I don't know what's in this cup. Let's move on.
The second one is good too. I like backdoor cover. I like the second one, backdoor cover.
Backdoor cover. The multiple question marks, they really get to me, and I'm like, oh, is that a zero? I'm dyslexic. We're moving on to the next question. Do the Texans upset the Titans again?
No way.
No. Negative.
One seed on the line. No chance the Titans lay a dud here. No chance.
Do we like the Steelers, Jags, money line?
Jags money line. Oof. Again, 15-point dogs against the Colts.
Yeah, word.
Yeah.
What?
Might as well go buy a lottery.
I don't know, guys. Don't poo-poo that Jags money line just yet, because keep in mind, the Colts season's over now, right? They got nothing to play for, so they're a broken team.
No.
They had their shot.
They got to play to get in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but only if isn't that only possible if someone else has to lose for that to happen, right? They don't win and they're in no matter what. Isn't that true? Isn't there something else? There's another caveat to it. Anyway, I love the Jags being spoilers. I love the Jets being. I love a lot of spoiler action happening today. I don't know if the Jags could possibly win that game, especially coming off of the loss that the Colts just had to the Raiders. But still, I actually like those. I look at the lottery plays. Put $50 on it. If it hits, you get like I don't know, probably like $800 or something. I don't know. It's kind of nice right there. I like that.
I apologize. Did we ever answer the Lions Ravens parlay for not 2,700 but just 270 plus 270? Do we answer that?
No, we didn't.
We didn't. Does anyone want to give their insight so that I can stop reading like Ron Burgundy and switch over to Veronica Corningstone at some point?
I don't hate it. I mean, if you're going money line, the Lions money line, they've won 2 games all year. They're the Lions. The spread is definitely a safer play. And yeah, I don't know. The Ravens are interesting, man. Like
they are.
I want to say they're going to win that game, but I don't know. The line is telling me the Steelers. Like, that's a tough game. I would stay away. Those are just tough games, to be honest.
We're staying away. I love Tyler Huntley. I like him as a backup QB. Either way, I appreciate you all for joining us today. Cheers to another Sunday and the season finale of the NFL Week 18. We made it, fellas.
What a year we had.
Kenny. Invisible
Kenny had such a bad week last week. He doesn't even have a cup anymore. It's so sad now. Get the guy
lost it.
I had to pawn on my cup.
Oh, man.
Eddie bets big. Danny Brasco, much appreciated. Thanks for all the insight. We will be checking you guys out later and look forward to you eating a spicy chip the next time we're together as we talk about Wild Card Weekend. That's going to be exciting.
Because the Chargers are going to win.
All right. Well, there you go. Sarina, and then there were two. You and I, baby.
Then there were two. Thank you, and subscribe to the Game Day on YouTube. Shout out to New York. You can finally bet. We are live every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern. We're going to switch things up moving forward because we've got playoffs, baby. How you feeling, Kevin?
I'm excited. There's a great weekend to gamble. It's listen, anything can happen. That's what it's all about, right? So we started the show watching a guy dance his way into $1 million. That could be you as well. Take advantage of the promotion we got going on right now. Check the link below. Bonus is up to $3,000 for all of you new New York gamblers. And for those of you that have been around a while gambling with us, we appreciate you. You can keep up with us in the meantime, all things the Game Day NFL. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, as Sarina said. Follow on the TikTok. You can spend less time watching Jackson Mahomes dance and more time watching us talk about football. That's what it's all about.
Jackson Mahomes, Jake Paul. Just wait. It's coming your way soon. See you soon.